I do, Hoko again, with another video. We've got a special guest this time. Firebird, the leader of Soft Kittens. Waiting for him to call me and we can get on with it. So you can find out all you need to know about these generals. Hello?
Oh, hello? Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Anyways, are you ready to explain all about these generals?
I'll explain what I know.
All right. I haven't really looked into them myself too much. So I'll leave you with it. Click on Generals Overview.
Yep.
Right, I'm on Generals Overview.
That's where you're going to want to be.
I'll leave it with you then. You explain away.
All right. So currently in the game, there are only 4 generals, and Goodgame Studios, I think here in the near future, plans to release a few more. I'm not 100% on that though. But currently the 4 generals that we have are General Horatio, General Alyssa, General Leo, and then General Toril. So each of these generals has different unique skills that sometimes are better for defense and are better for attacking. What I've discovered is there are 2 that are really good for attacking and 1 that is a lot better at defending. So I'll start with the defensive one first, and that would be the General Horatio. If you're going to look at the skills of this general, there's a few that we can probably see called Power Surge, Towering Shield, Heroic Defense, Horde Breaker, and Rise to the Task.
I'll click on the bottom, is it? Oh, the skills at the bottom, the abilities.
Yeah, the skills right at the bottom. Yeah.
All right.
So with the majority of these skills, they both have an attack and defensive ability attached to them, such as Power Surge. For attack, it has an offensive bonus of 10% combat strength for attack units during a single wave attack, activates every 2 waves. But on the flip side of that, it has a defensive one that gives you 10% combat strength for the defensive units for a single attack wave. However, with Horatio, there's a very specific defensive ability that he has that has no attack ability. And this is why I believe he's more of a defensive commander. It's called Heroic Defense. It increases your combat strength for defense units on the flank. And it has this weird, funky little thing. So the fewer units you have on the flank, you get a larger increase to the strength of your defenders. So let's say you're a player, a little bit smaller, only has 1,000 on the wall. This defense skill would help you more than somebody like me, where I'm having 2,000 to 3,000 on the wall generally. Also, there's a few other little things. There's a final rally cry, which allows you to increase your troop capacity in the courtyard, which really saves your bacon against huge attacks, because trying to defend with only 50,000 troops is basically impossible at this stage of the game. And also, there's another skill called Steadfast Sentry in the second line. This allows you to increase your wall limit for the defense. So let's say you had 1,000 troops on the wall, but you leveled this all the way up. It would be giving you, I'd say, roughly maybe 24 to 30% extra onto the wall, which can really save your butt on the wall. It could be the difference between you winning or not. This is why I think this general is a lot better suited for defensive capabilities, because he has those 3 specific traits that really assist you in making your defense a lot stronger. Yes, this guy is definitely best for defense, and if you're getting hit, I would say slap him on there and look at those few skills that I specifically stated for defensive abilities. Final Rally Cry, steadfast sentry, and the heroic defense that would really assist you. And that's the main one that I've noticed is really defensively focused. He can be an okay attacker, but he's a lot better of a defender than he is an attacker. However, if we go to the General Leo, he is basically what I describe as a all attack, no defense, really. Mine is currently out right now, but there are two skills that are insanely useful, and honestly, at this point, a little bit broken on this commander, which makes him absolutely stellar for attacking. And that would be the longbow skill, which gives your minimum range combat strength for your attackers basically 150% plus a 15% bonus on that every 2 waves. So let's say you had 11 waves on your attack. It would ping on the 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th wave when attacking. And it's so broken that you can wipe 2,000 troops off the wall on just the 2nd wave at this point, which I think is kind of insane. And it's awful because if you're trying to defend against that, I have not seen a way to defend against that, honestly. It's a little broken at this point, but fantastic if you're attacking somebody with that commander. Because, I mean, I've seen Novelist wipe on the 2nd wave 7,000 troops on somebody's wall. So it's super broken.
Bit unfair for the defender.
It's very, very unfair, and I've not quite found a way to counter it yet. Hopefully GG will fix their math on that one. But this is a General Leo. Hopefully you'll get him soon. He's a very, very strong attacker.
I want him.
Fingers crossed.
I hope so.
And then the second attacker general that I found out is the General Toral. So this general has multiple skills that once you level this commander up are going to be terrifying. So there's 4 that I want to speak to that are insanely good when it comes to attacking. One is the aspect of the dragon, which reduces the combat strength of defensive units. And it scales to generally 1.6 for every 1% difference between the combat strength of the attackers and defenders. So let's say your combat strength for your defenders is 2 million. If I'm throwing a hit that has a combat strength of 4 million, there is going to be a significant drop in your defender's ability or your defender's power. And then there's one called Intimidate, which increases the combat strength for your attacking units. And once again, this one really helps you on the wall. It depends on the difference between the number of remaining attackers and remaining wall defenders. And it goes every 3. So let's say you're a defender or an attacker, and your defender has 7,000 on the wall. And let's say after wave 3, you've killed, let's say, 4,000 on the wall. Your combat strength for the remainder of your attacking units increases and becomes stronger comparatively to the defense of the person you're attacking. And then there is a really, really evil trait that this commander has called Tail Whip. It kills 2.5% of all melee defenders on the wall every 3 waves. Is not fun to deal with. So they have some very nasty traits on this one. Yeah. And also, this one has one more really good trait. It can increase your combat strength of your attack units in the courtyard as well, and it's called Vengeance. And it's based on the number of attack units lost during the wall fight. So I'm assuming the more troops that you have coming over the wall after winning is what really multiplies into this into this skill. So let's say you sent 4,000 troops, let's say, or 3,000 would be more of a reasonable assumption to have on the flank of an attack. And let's say 2,500 get through. You'd have a lot more of a buff in the courtyard battle for your troops than you would if only 200 made it past the wall.
Sounds pretty powerful, that one.
They're all really powerful.
Yeah.
And there's one more general that I haven't really ironed down if they're fantastic for defending or attacking. But General Alyssa seems like she could be a mix of both. A decent attacker and a decent defender.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is the pirate one. So this general has a few really interesting abilities. So this one, once again, has the troop capacity in the courtyard, which makes you think maybe this one might be a little bit more of a defender compared to the others. And you could be right with that one. But this commander also has the ability to allow you to have 36% unit limit on the flanks just from one of her skills. But on the flip side, you can also have extra combat strength while defending the courtyard as one of her skills called manning the barricades. So this general seems like she might be a little bit interchangeable depending on your situation and how many of the general skill reset tokens you have. Like, let's say you're getting hit at 2 places and you're like, okay, I know Alyssa has these skills, Horatio has these skills. Okay, I need a reset for defense on this one. You might be able to pop her around and kind of interchangeably use her as an attacker and a defender.
A bit more all-rounded, maybe.
And I would say, yeah, probably more rounded general.
Oh, right.
Compared to the others.
Yeah.
And just a few little quick things on this one. So a couple of us have had this issue. If you click on the abilities tab, you actually need to assign the abilities of your commanders and save them. Otherwise, you're just sending your commander and getting experience points and not getting any of the boosts that the general should bring to the fight. And also, while changing what general is on your commander, you will need to resave your abilities. This was something I found out today while I was throwing out a couple of attacks.
Yeah.
Let's say you had Alyssa on your first general, let's say, and you're like, okay, I want to do some PvP. My PvP comm is 25. You move her, you have to reset those abilities on her for some reason. I'm not sure if that's a glitch in GG's system or if that's how they have implemented this, but that's just a good thing to know because I got destroyed by somebody's D-hole defense because of that.
Oh, right. Well, annoying, that is.
Very, very annoying. So you really have to keep your eyeball on that if you're changing what commanders your generals are assigned to.
Found out the hard way.
Just makes it more fun.
Yeah. All right. So for now, there's only these 4 generals. So coming soon. Presumably, there's going to be some more out soon.
Yeah, there's supposedly some coming out soon. I know GG's teased it a couple of times in their Discord, but it'd probably be coming after the holidays. So I'd say probably the earliest we would see something is maybe mid-January to late January.
Is this making the game more interesting in your opinion, Firebird? Or would you rather play without the generals?
Well, with everything that's happened in the updates, I wouldn't really consider the addition of the generals more interesting, in my opinion, honestly. It just makes it a little more confusing to players who've been here for a while, and just a bunch of new skills and things to figure out and see how math actually works out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't right now. And I could see where they were coming from with this, maybe trying to balance attacking and defending a little bit better. But in my opinion, it doesn't really make the game more interesting. It just makes it more complicated than it really needs to be.
I don't think it's going to be as complicated. I haven't really looked at it too closely.
Yeah, I've spent a while trying to figure out who's good for what and what should be used for what, and it's still confusing at this point. And it's in my opinion, not the best update they could have done. Because honestly,
best to keep it more simple in it, so it's just easy to get your head round and get on with the game.
You would think they'd want to make it a little simpler, but
more playable. Yeah.
But after their update, I'm not sure how much they really care about playability at this point. But that's just my opinion on it. But yeah, and just going off what I've seen, I mean, it's definitely another aspect to make the game way more pay to win, in my opinion, honestly. Because Nobilis, who's kind of become the most prolific PvPer on the server after Roxy quit, I mean, he's been playing for 2 months at this point, and he almost already has all the generals maxed. And yeah, it's one of those crazy things. And also one last little thing, if you look at the generals and you want to buy an offering, almost 13,000 for a Lugwood offer, almost 33,000 for an Ulrich offer, and then almost 70,000 for a Beatrice offer in rubies is honestly insane at this point. And I really hope that nobody is getting them this way. And if anybody's watching this, please do not waste your rubies buying them like this. If you're going to buy anything, do it from the packs that give you multiple of these things, along with tickets and troops.
That's good to know. Definitely. Good advice.
It's a lot more bang to your buck, and it's way better. Especially if you're a smaller ruby buyer and you don't really want to put all that much into it. It's better to, I don't know, buy your 30,000 rubies that you need on a 250% prime time and get a look item and go hard in nomads, or if you need them to open your gates against a big hit. It's just not, in my mind, sustainable to buy them through ruby means through the generals in.
Yeah, I just go for the free stuff on it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about the generals, Firebird? Anything else you've missed, or anything else we would need to know?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I think I missed a little earlier. So there's also star levels to your generals. And I discovered this pretty early on with the generals. So every 10 levels, you have to get a specific amount of shards to be able to upgrade the star level of your general, which I find to be quite irritating. Because once you hit, let's say, level 10 for General Horatio, you are unable to get any experience points on that general unless you level up its star.
That's why I'm on level 10.
Which, yeah, I personally find it aggravating and irritating, because why? I don't understand that mechanic in the game. All I think in my mind that's doing is slowing down the ability of smaller players to be able to catch up and possibly deal with these super teched up commanders and against high level generals. It theoretically is really impossible. to consistently fight against that.
Yeah.
For an example, Mina had a level 28 general Alyssa, or no, not 28 Alyssa, a level 28 Horatio defending against Nobilis's level like 32 General Leo, and he was able to easily win the wall. So something needs to be done about the whole star thing issue. Maybe make the number of shards lower to need it, because to get 1-star level, I think you need 185 Horatio shards.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right.
And those offers are generally not very kind as to giving you a lot of shards. Because the one you're going to be getting consistently as a smaller player is the Ludwig offers. And you get maybe 5 shards from them if you're lucky.
What 98
So,
here? Yeah, need times 185.
yeah, it definitely will take more time if you're a smaller player. And it's definitely not as fun to try and deal with that. But outside of those few complaints with that, you just gotta, and also the fact you can only get experience points on a lowering scale for like 10 to 20 hits. That significantly slows down smaller players and leveling up their generals as well.
Yeah, they don't seem to care much about the non-Ruby buying players so much, I think, maybe.
It's probably been consistent their entire time. Probably. As a studio. So yeah. But those are the things I've seen and kind of figured out from the general standpoint. And hopefully they make a few adjustments to them soon and make them a little more balanced. That will take time and people sending in tickets and trying to talk to them, trying to talk to the moderators in their Discord server. Time will tell on that. Bonus little thing I'll throw in there is, with the changes made in the game, how you're only allowed to defend with a certain subsect of your troops in your castle based on skills of the general, guardhouses, strongholds, etc. If you're a smaller player with less troops than you can technically have in your courtyard, bird your troops. You are at a severe disadvantage trying to defend without support at this point in the game. Because, I mean, still at this point, I can still wipe 60, 70k troops out of somebody's castle if they're not at their full maximum. So basically, you're still liable to get completely wiped if you're not over that limit. Like for myself, I can defend the courtyard with 402,000 troops right now. Let's say I took all of my troops out and left 120k in there. That could get wiped by somebody like Nobilis, like that. And all those troops, or at least the vast majority of them, would be dead. So if you're a smaller player, still bird your troops. Don't give them the ability to get that.
So your defensive troops are not really that safe?
No troops are really safe at this point in time if you're a smaller player. I've seen a couple of friends of mine kill 120k troops in one pop after the update. And I myself, I got a BR a month or two back where I killed 103,000 troops out of somebody's castle. So you just really got to still make sure your troops are birded, especially with these new generals that make it so much easier to just run through your wall. In the long run, it saves you coin, and also if you spend, it saves you a lot of money.
Yeah. That's good advice, as always. Is that about finished now, Firebird, do you think, on the generals, or anything else to add?
I don't think there's really anything else on the generals at this point in time that we've discovered, but we'll do an update to this video if there's anything else that we find, or if there's new skills that get added to these generals. Because if you look at their general skill tree, they got a little disclaimer at the bottom of them saying more skills to come soon.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility they might balance out the commanders to where they could be good for attack and defense. But that's something that we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, until he changes. Oh, thanks for your help, and thanks for coming on the channel and giving a detailed explanation on the generals. Much appreciated.
Of course.
And,
of course, these things get weird and confusing, especially when GG adds in brand new things that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah. I think it best to keep it more. I don't know whether to keep it more simple because it makes it more playable, in my opinion. I'm not really into the ins and outs of it too much. So I'm glad you could come on and try and explain what's going on.
Of course.
Super. Can we leave it there?
Yeah, we can leave it there. All right, no worries.
Right. Super. Well, thanks very much for that.
Of course.
And I'll should see you in another video in the future.
Sounds like a plan. Talk to you later, Hoko.
I'll see you later, Firebird. So Firebird just has gone now. Just give us a much needed explanation. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.